Welcome to the I Hate Critics movie review podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff.
Okay, Toby, fuck off. I mean, hi. Hi. Sorry, I watched Romeo and Michelle the other night.
Okay.
That's Janine Garofalo. Okay, Toby, fuck off.
You can find us all over social media. I Hate Critics. Just search it. It's the only podcast called I Hate Critics. That makes it easy. I don't think there's anybody else out there using that name.
Not that I'm aware of.
That's our clever little bit of marketing right there. You know what? People are starting to already hate Superman. It hasn't even come out yet.
No, people are not hating Superman. Conservatives are hating Superman.
Fuckheads are. No, James Gunn had spoken about how, Superman's an immigrant, and just immediately Fox News lost their shit. But if you think about it, under Trump policies, they'd have to ask Superman to leave. So I mean,
this is true. I would like to see Ice fuck with Superman.
I'd love that. They show up at the Fortress of Solitude. Excuse me, you need to vacate, sir.
They're just like, they show up with masks and stuff. He goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And just like X-rays visits them to death. I read a story that said a lot of ICE people are quitting because they feel some sort of way about being doxxed and morale is low. And I'm like, good.
Yeah, do the right thing and quit, ICE. If you don't like people hating you, quit. Otherwise, we're going to continue to hate you.
Yep.
Of course, that's just going to leave the really malignant, dangerous ones behind. But still, I mean, I think that was always going to happen when you're around the malignant, dangerous people. You're probably going to they're probably going to end up alone. It just tends to be what happens.
I mean, brown shirts, ICE, same thing.
Same thing. This is just really, really dumb. This is always a really dumb conversation. They think saying something is woke is like that's a criticism.
Right?
How is that a criticism? What is it? What exactly does it say?
I don't like is woke.
Yeah. This podcast is incredibly woke. Just so you know to turn it off.
If you hate woke, you should probably go ahead and turn this off.
Yeah, just go. You're not welcome here.
And if you've subscribed to our Patreon, you're not getting a refund.
Exactly. You can't pay us to like you. Even then, we have some standards. Not many.
Exactly. Well, that's just true, especially me.
I guess we should have seen this coming, because they always come up with dumb shit like this. If the dinosaurs in Jurassic World had been, if we'd noted their immigrant status, they'd probably have been mad at them too.
Well, technically they're non-binary. I rest my case.
Those damn woke dinosaurs.
Like in the first one when BD Wong goes, all of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are female. If they re-release that movie today, I could just see like conservative heads exploding. What do you mean they're all female? God, is Kathleen Kennedy running things?
Where's our male dinosaur representation?
Oh my God, yeah.
How do
woke dinosaurs? Wokeosaurus?
How do you go through your life just being that upset all the time? Like, I don't get it. I have a hard enough time with my kind of up and down depression stuff. I don't know where I would find the time to be so angry at other people.
Well, so I know it's not a movie, but Robert Downey Jr. I didn't even listen to it, but I was busy. I just saw a part of it. Was talking to the actress who plays Riri Williams on Ironheart and praising her. And I just looked at the comments and it was like, no wonder women don't like these guys. It's like a snake eating its tail. Like they don't like women because women won't talk to them, and women won't talk to them because they don't like women. So
yeah, that's a good double-edged sword there for you.
I used to work with a guy at Target, okay, who would not, like, at night I was doing pulls and stocking shelves and whatever, and I would love to do the health and beauty area because the pharmacy was closed, and when the pharmacy closed, people didn't go in there, so I was just kind of being able to do my own thing. And that meant that I got like the tampons and pads and Depends and stuff like that, right? This guy would
Right.
not go down that aisle. He needed to talk to me about something. He was like, "Hey, come here." And I'm like, I'm busy. I can't just come down here. He's like, "Well, I know." I'm like, "Why not?" Cause I don't know. It's gross. You were raised by a single grandmother with two sisters, and you're dating a girl who clearly doesn't have any standards. Why are you afraid to talk about periods and shit?
Oh my
It's
God!
just
That's just being a child.
yeah,
That's just you're a child. You stop being a child. Be a grown up.
yeah, grow the fuck up.
Oh my God! Can't stand it. My Fox News, grow up.
Right?
Just
Fox
just
News,
be
go
grown
away.
ups for fuck's sake. God. This is stupid. This stupid controversies. It's just so predictable. They never say anything new. They never have anything interesting to add. It's the same point made over and over again, and it's in different words. And it's just why don't the people watching it get tired of it? Is
Yeah.
it their comfort show? They know what's going to
Oh,
come next, so that's why they watch it. They just know, well, they're going to say the same thing every day, so I don't have to worry about
that is 100% their Murder She Wrote or Golden Girls.
it. Because it's predictable. They know exactly what they're going to say. They're never surprised.
Yeah, on this season on The War on Christmas. Oh my, it's so somebody posted on Threads today a photo of him with his legs up on the ledge at the theater and saying, "You are gonna," and Superman is on the screen, right? "You are gonna hate this movie. Just wait for the Fantastic Four instead." Okay, a couple things. The lights were on in the theater, and there were people walking by. He was clearly watching the trailer and said that he was watching the movie. Because if he was at a pre-screening for that and they saw him whip out his phone, which they would because they watch those shits like hawks, right?
Right.
They saw the second he whipped out a phone, he would be out of there and banned from ever going back in. So the guy was clearly just watching the trailer and trying to be like, look how cool I am. And all his whole, like, I looked at his profile briefly and it was just all that kind of shit, anti-woke shit. And I was like,
Mm.
wait, you want people to wait for Fantastic Four when the lead is a Hispanic, possibly homosexual male? What?
And just the biggest trans ally there is, like
Yeah.
just trashing J.K. Rowling left and right.
So I'm like,
Love you, Pedro Pascal. This is your show. This is for you, buddy.
I want to see Pedro Pascal and David Cornsweet make out. Like I'm planning on Pedro and I having an open marriage just so we can allow David Cornsweet into it.
You're gonna have to fight our entire female audience for that.
Bring it on. I'm not afraid to hit a woman. Well, I will scratch your eyes out. Besides, he doesn't like you. He likes me.
Oh man!
Even
All
my
right,
Angela Lansbury figure is giving me side eye when I say that.
let's talk about the new movies this week. I guess we'll start with one we both watched called Heads of State, starring John Cena and Idris Elba. And the story of a president and a prime minister who end up fighting terrorists together after Air Force One gets blown out of the sky. Um, I'm of two minds on this. John Cena as the president, first of all, is just bizarre, but he makes it work. That's which just kind of floors me. Idris Elba, of course, is very believable. Like I could totally, he probably could be the prime minister of England. That's probably in this timeline. That just seems very possible. But so, But the fact that I was able to occasionally buy into the idea that John Cena was president just kind of floored me. I was like, I said it as a joke last week, like that in this timeline, like John Cena could be president, but like he actually pulled it off in the movie for me, and that's really bothering me that I was able to fall for that. But moreover, though, I was kind of surprised just how incredible the action scenes in this movie were. There are some really awesome things, starting with Jack Quaid just walking in and stealing the entire movie for like 10 minutes. That guy was so amazing. You think he's going to be one thing and he turns out to be another. I loved that they let him be a badass. They let him be weird. They gave him a moment to be an absolute hero. Like, that was just the coolest. I just loved that scene. That's my favorite scene in the movie. But every action scene just seemed to have like a great idea, a great invention to it. It had an energy to it. I was kind of like, I kept stopping what I was doing to actually watch it as opposed to doing something else because the action was so compelling. I like it. It's still pretty silly. The whole thing that the character dynamics like are very rote. Idris Elba and him have to learn to work together, and they're fish out of water and all that kind of predictable stuff. Screenwriting 101 crap. But but when the action is happening, when the actual action scenes are taking place, even when it's the president and the prime minister firing guns at people, I was kind of like, this is kind of exciting.
Yeah. I mean,
really
there's nothing groundbreaking about it whatsoever, but
no.
It was enjoyable. It was a good way to pass a couple hours. I did have to fast forward to a little bit towards the end because I wanted to make the show because my meeting ran late this afternoon, but nothing. Yeah, I didn't feel like I missed a single thing, maybe a little.
Well, it's not like you don't know how this was going to end.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what, like when he utters the line, spoiler alert, if you're going to watch it, when he utters the line, it's always the vice president. I was like, yeah, I knew that like 5 minutes into the movie. As soon as Air Force One went down, I'm like, oh yeah, it's the vice president. It's always the vice president.
It's always the vice president. And yeah, like typically it is. Like I've seen that movie before.
Iron Man 3, hi.
Oh man, but I'm telling you, I just couldn't. The fact that John Cena was kind of selling me on the idea of being president just kind of hurt my brain.
Well, like I said last week, John Cena brings a lot of goodwill because he's not a douche. He's kind of an everyman. Today, in my meeting, somebody was like, describe if your brand was, an actor, who would it be? And somebody was extolling the virtues of how Marky Mark is an everyman. And I was like, I would say John Cena. And a couple of the people in the meeting were like, yeah. I was like, see, okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I agree with that.
He's not a racist homophobe like Marky Mark.
He's very solid in this movie. He made me laugh a couple times. He's got a good, strong self-awareness. He's got a kind of a natural likability. Kind of like the Rock before his ego got too inflated.
Where he started eating 45,000 calories a day. Yeah.
It's really surprising. And I mean, Idris Elba, like he's just so relaxed on screen. The guy just doesn't he doesn't sweat everything. When there's a moment in the movie where you think his character has died, and you're like, of course he's not dead. And then of course when he comes back, he gets a big hero moment, even though it made no sense whatsoever. But they do these little interstitial bits that are almost like a Wes Anderson movie for just like 10 seconds. And it just made me laugh both times that they did it. They did it with a motorcycle and then they did it with a fire truck. And I was like, that was really funny. Yeah. But yeah, the Jack Quaid segment was like the best thing. What did you think when you saw Jack Quaid?
We have talked about how he's fine, but I don't like go out of my way to love Jack Quaid, but I loved him in this movie. And and my
He
TV
comes
was
on just so completely goofball. Like you don't think this guy, like I didn't know because you don't know who to trust in the movie. Like everybody's turning, or seemingly going to turn on anyone at any moment, it would seem. And there's a lot of red herrings. Not that the script is good. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things like it's so scattershot that you're not sure where to trust. But then they allow you to trust him. They give you a bunch of reasons. He's this goofball guy, and then they allow him to have these really big moments. That was great.
Yeah, I like my TV was really dark on that particular scene because when they go in there, the scene is dark, and my TV was not on dynamic like I like it. And I was like, that's Jack Quaid's voice. I didn't have any idea he was in this.
No,
of course, I didn't really
I had
do
not
any
heard
research. I've been, I went in blind. So, like, I'm going into Superman blind. I'm not sure what it's about.
I've got a little information, but not too much, which is good. But I knew enough about what this was to think. I knew enough about what this movie is to kind of have developed like an attitude about it and how I think it's going to be pretty dumb. But then that's the same way I went into Fortune with John Cena and Awkwafina, and that movie was terrific. I got to just start trusting John Cena apparently.
And another little tidbit that I took away from the movie is that Stephen Root is the new Richard Masur.
Yeah.
He plays all his parts in the last 5 years have been what Richard Masur played in the 80s.
Very true. Very true. It's a good niche for him.
Yeah.
He'll never win an Oscar, but he's always going to be a relatable go-to utility man.
He'll be in everything because Richard Masur was in everything that they produced from 1979 to 1995. So,
what'd you think of the love story, the romantic angle for Idris Elba?
It was fine. I got more chemistry from him and John Cena, though.
She was great, though. She was terrific.
Yeah, but
if I knew her name, I'd say it.
I suppose I could look it up, but I don't care that much about it. I did think the whole, wait, you're alive? Wait, you're alive?
This movie is just filled with these little moments that work. It's kind of like a really good 80s B movie.
Yeah. It's like something Golan and Globus would put out.
But you know what? This could have succeeded on the big screen too. With that much action, with that much big action, this is a movie that could have looked great on the big screen. If I can lament one thing, is just this: there's movies like this that don't end up getting seen by enough people because they didn't go to theaters. And I think this one probably deserved a theatrical run because it's better than most of the action movies we've seen this year. We're going to talk about an action movie later. It's actually better than. Spoiler alert. There are actually 2 movies I liked this week and one I didn't. We'll get to that later.
I wonder what.
Well, yeah, I highly recommend this one. If you haven't seen Heads of State, I think it's a terrific B movie. It's not one of the best movies of the year. It's definitely filled with very easy screenwriting 101 type stuff, but the action is unimpeachably great.
Agreed.
And speaking of that, I can also pretty much say the same thing about The Old Guard 2, starring Charlize Theron. Picking up the story from the first film in the series, The Old Guard. Basically, they're fighting Uma Thurman this time, who plays a character named Discord. She's also somebody who is immortal. All the characters, the good guy characters in this movie are immortal. There are very few immortals in this world, but they fight on behalf of good and try and protect the people who are not immortal, except for Uma Thurman, who wants to destroy all humans for various different reasons. But they've got to step up and stop her, and there's a terrific sword fight, lots of great action, and some really solid character stuff. This is a very gay movie. 4 of the characters in the top flight characters are playing gay characters, and they're all very, very compelling and very well written, and you care about those stories. They make those stories matter. And I didn't know anything about that going in, so that was great. I could not for the life of me remember the first movie. I could not, for the life of me, remember anything about the first movie. So I had to look up like the Wikipedia entry to remind myself. And that kind of threw me for like the first 10 minutes or so. But once I get into the action scenes are spectacular, just like in Heads of State. Lots of really smart set pieces, really well directed. And I enjoyed these characters. I did not like the ending, which is a setup for another sequel. But it really kind of seems to end too early, ending before there's a resolution. But other than that, I did enjoy this, and I do recommend it.
Oh, I have to house sit somebody with Netflix. Maybe I'll watch it.
I check it out. Like I said, it's pretty great. For what it is. Again, it's not trying to change the world. It's just a really good like B movie action film, and to have two of those this week was really fun. Considering the other movie that I suffered through. I don't know about you. I don't know if you liked it or not, but to have these two movies be funny and short, relatively speaking, compared to the other one, it really made me happy.
Yeah, I did not see it because like I said, I can't afford to do Netflix as well as all my other stuff right now, but maybe I will watch it.
It's a little too woke for you Fox News guys, though, just so you know.
Yeah.
I'll just warn you. It's a very woke action movie.
Bunch of woke bullshit.
Let's
the
see.
Homos.
Your entire existence is just written off as woke. Is that weird?
I've been called worse. Try better.
Let's see. Let's talk. I guess we can talk about the big name movie this week now, which is
Megan
Jurassic.
2.0?
Let's talk about Megan 2.0 again. I did name the show last week. I don't know if you noticed. I named last week's show Save Megan 2.0.
I did see that.
Trying to get people to go see it. Because you should go see it if you haven't seen it. It's a good movie. You should see it instead of this one.
Yeah, one of my friends saw it again because he was like, I'm taking people to see Megan as long as it's in theaters because it was so great. It's like, I love you, Perry.
Yeah, I would recommend that over the experience of Jurassic World Rebirth, starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and a bunch of stock characters. It takes you back to another one of the various different Jurassic Parks islands in wherever they are. They got to go there and get a thing, and that thing will cure heart disease or something. You can see how invested I was in this. The guy that they got playing the corporate bad guy in the movie is just like the worst actor in the world. Like, he's just awful. Like, I don't know what direction they gave him, but he is just smug. Just the human embodiment of smug. It's like, oh, villain. Okay, well, there's the villain. It's not even, they're not even trying to hide it, which I guess maybe is them leaning into how terrible it is. But like, he's just the embodiment of just a bad guy. And like, now I have to try and believe in the Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali characters while they're working for this guy, which means they have to do the whole screenwriting 101 thing of have them save a family that has their boat tip over near Jurassic Park. So we'll believe that these aren't just mercenaries. But that just means that they've added a child to this so needlessly. This whole family subplot could have been cut out of the entire movie and we'd miss nothing. Nothing would be lost without that family. They just distract from the whole thing. We keep having to cut back to them and away from the action scenes. And it's like, I just kept rolling my eyes every time the family came on screen. It's just such a needless subplot. It arrives far too late into the first act to really get invested in. And it really just adds this needless element of drama, like, because of course you're going to be, we got to worry about this child now. Like, the movie just needs to add a child in to get you invested. I think you're failing at you're failing drama. You're failing at creating, compelling characters if you think you need to have a child in a movie like this. They keep throwing children into Jurassic Park, and it's just, a lot of the times, it's just not necessary.
Yeah, I really did not like I liked the family, but I think that they could have built a whole other movie around it. Like that could be the sequel to this, because there's going to be a sequel to this. There's always going to be a sequel. I just, first of all, you're talking about Rupert Friend, who is kind of typecast as not necessarily a great guy.
Mhm.
He's been in Wes Anderson stuff. He was in Asteroid City and the Phoenician Scheme, which we
He's
just
probably
watched.
great in those, but he's terrible in
Yeah.
this.
And Companion, he was the one that got killed at the beginning at the pool.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was also on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and everybody hated him because he didn't look like the cartoon.
I did not have that problem with him because I've not seen that series, nor do I care. But
Yeah. But he's just so transparently evil in this movie that it's like, why don't they play the Friday the 13th around him? Because he's obviously the bad guy the entire time. Um, yeah, I like almost everybody in the cast for what they're, like what they're doing in other
Mhm.
movies, but yeah, I didn't hate it. First of all, I did not hate the movie. I didn't love the movie. I just kept thinking, if this is what we're going to do, why are we going to do it? Aside from money,
Mhm.
um, why does everybody in the cast have plot armor, with the exception of Rupert Friend and the throwaway characters they introduced at the beginning of the movie? Um,
I think I even said that to myself while I was watching the movie. Oh, just use your main character powers. You're fine.
yeah, Mahershala Ali should have died. He should have sacrificed himself for the good of the family and whatever. Um, the boyfriend should have died with the Velociraptors. Went and so I went back and I'd started to watch the original Jurassic Park before this last week. I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch the whole series. I don't know why, but just because nostalgia or whatever. But as I was watching this one, and he's going to pee, and he walks like a mile away to go pee. I don't know why he couldn't have just turned around on the other side of the log they were all sitting up against and peed. It would have made just, would have made sense. And then these velociraptors come creeping up on him, and one jumps on, as they're jumping midair, the other dinosaur gets it. And then I was like, wait a minute, is that what they did exactly in Jurassic Park at the end? And sure enough, yeah, it's exactly, shot for shot almost, of the velociraptors going after Dr. Grant and Ellie Sattler and everything. And then the T-Rex comes and grabs them.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was super happy to see Manuel Garcia Rufo from The Lincoln Lawyer and a bunch of other stuff that we've seen, especially in shorts, because he's just so daddy, as my friend told me today. Whatever. But I would have rather have seen the family on an adventure. Here's an idea. I always do this, I know, but so this movie is, they get the cure for heart disease or the treatment for heart disease or whatever. Okay, cool. They do that. The next movie, they're going back for some reason, and then they rescue the family, and it's, they don't have to do all this stuff and stand under whatever long-tailed dinosaurs are gonna get it. It's like, I don't know, just the family could have been on their own thing, and then Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey come and save them or something halfway through the movie. I don't know. It just was two movies in one, and it made it too long and less interesting. I was not a big fan of the end dinosaur, the Xenomorphosaurus or whatever they called it.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
not impressive.
I don't know. I didn't hate it because there was some good action in it, but I just didn't. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's the best one since the first one." I'm like, "No, it's not."
What movie did you watch?
Yeah, I would. No, I was not a big fan of the Jurassic World trilogy. I thought it had some interesting ideas, but it just seemed like they
ran out of gas really quick. Like, I thought Jurassic World was good. I didn't have as many problems with the Jurassic World as many people did.
Yeah.
But the sequels definitely kept stretching thinner and thinner each time to try and keep those characters in play. And of course, appeal to nostalgia, especially the last one was just disgusting with just how much they were trying to tickle that nostalgia bone.
Well, and
Which they did.
why couldn't they have just dropped Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard, just drop them, and Sattler and Grant and Malcolm, they're all there because I don't know, they're doing something together, and then they save the world. I don't know. It was like, it just, it was, again, two movies in one.
It's just needlessly, and it just also just makes the movie just so much fucking longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
This movie, you could have done this movie in 90 minutes to 100 minutes, probably. You could have done that. And then they just kept cutting back to the family, and the family getting into dumber and dumber scrapes each time. Where it's just they're using a child to manipulate you, and they give the child a little plush toy dinosaur to play with, so they can merchandise that, and it just feels mercenary. The whole thing just feels like a mercenary money effort. Like there's no art to it. Like I was reading that Scarlett Johansson had called being in Jurassic Park, being in a Jurassic Park movie, like one of her dream roles, and I'm like, where's the passion? Like, I love Scarlett Johansson. She's an amazing actress. You can read me just writing love letters to her all last week in movies that I love with Scarlett Johansson. I did a whole week of that at medium.com/realscope. We did a Scarlett Johansson theme week, and I wrote about 4 movies of hers that I absolutely love, that she's amazing in. I didn't sense any passion from her in this. I sensed obligation. I sensed her going through the motions, but I didn't sense her really being invested in this.
And I think that partially it's like, I heard Gareth Edwards say the same thing, and I'm like, you just did what everybody else has done. And not even, not even that much.
Well, and Spielberg was saying that the reason they wanted to do another one was because Gareth Edwards' pitch was so unique and different, and just like I wish I would have heard that pitch, because I don't think I saw that in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the movie at all.
And I think Gareth Edwards is a really great director. Like, some of the action scenes are pretty spectacular. In many ways, this is just a deeply mediocre movie as opposed to a bad movie. I have got a lot of vitriol for it when I'm talking about it, but when I wrote about it, like, that's pretty much the tone I took, is that this is deeply mediocre as opposed to bad. And I do think that. But I think the things that I hate about it are the mercenary things, the empty things, the things that were not part of the original Jurassic Park, because Spielberg was passionate about that. He did care about telling that story. They had a reason for the children to be there. They had a reason behind, all the choices that they made in that movie, on top of creating dinosaurs that made you kind of blew your mind, because there they are. They exist in this world. They're that sense of wonder that they're never going to get back. We're never going to see that again, that kind of wonder again. And I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying that trying to bring any sense of that is kind of a waste of time. You're just trying to speak to nostalgia. The use of John Williams' score in this movie was just kind of that little reach for nostalgia when they used it. It just all feels empty. It all feels mercenary. It all feels like just the screenwriting obligation. These are mercenaries, so we need to humanize them. We'll throw this family in there, and that'll humanize them. That's just like, David Koepp is a longtime screenwriter. He wrote the first Jurassic Park. He's been doing this for years. For him to use a device that lazy bugs me. You've been doing this long enough that you can kind of innovate, that people should be able to trust you to innovate. And for him to look at these are mercenary characters, we need to humanize. It's just basically telling your actors, go fuck yourselves. You're not able to make people like you. we need to throw this useless family in here to make you not seem like bad guys.
Yeah, while I was watching it, I was like, okay, you know what? The action is going pretty quickly. And then all of a sudden it was like it hit a wall when the family left on their own. It wasn't that big of an island, and they all got off they all got back on the island pretty close to each other. So why they couldn't have heard each other screaming,
Uh-huh.
you know, I mean, I know why, because we have to have them go off on an adventure so that it, you know, makes the other people look better, even though they don't interact whatsoever for another 40 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Um, I just, I don't know. I kept saying, why are we doing this? And I have never done that in a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Dominion, where I was watching it, and I was like, okay, let's hit the notes. Let's at least they gave Laura Dern something different to do for a while. She
Yeah.
wasn't, she wasn't just going to the island. She was investigating these bugs, and I it just this was all like, oh, we've got to go to this island. Which didn't this island? Haven't they already been on this island? Yes, they've been on this island, but then no, this is an actual different island now. And I just, yeah, I was like, I don't.
How many
And
more
then
islands are there where there's these secret bases? I mean,
well,
really, how many more times can you do this where there's a secret base that's been making dinosaurs for the past 30 years? It's just,
and
it's to the point of silliness. Like, it's to the point of like a Saturday Night Live skit at this point.
and when you get to the point where people don't care about dinosaurs anymore
Uh-huh.
in a movie, that's not anything real different than like people watching these movies now.
That is so funny because you're talking about that scene early. One of the earliest scenes is like a dinosaur has gotten loose in New York City and caused a traffic jam, and people are annoyed about the traffic jam. They're not concerned in the least that there's a giant brontosaurus has stopped traffic, and then people are like, "Well, this is an inconvenience to my day. When are they gonna get that
Yes,
fucking dinosaur out of here?"
you're watching a dinosaur die and you're pissed about it because you're trying to get somewhere.
It's gonna be late. It's so fucking silly.
First of
And
all,
it's
you're
mirroring
in
the
Brooklyn.
audience.
You're taking the subway if you're worried about traffic.
Just hoping that a velociraptor doesn't get loose down there. Oh man, that's gonna stop the train for a while.
Right? Oh God, I can imagine on the PATH train from New York to New Jersey.
But you know what else amazed me though is like they managed to sneak product placement into this, which just blew my
Sneak,
mind. Like,
sneak, sneak.
well, you wouldn't think they're on a fucking island. You wouldn't think they'd be able to find some fucking product placement, but goddamn, did they get the product placement in there? Because, well, first of all, a Snickers bar is the reason why this whole fucking movie happens. A guy drops a Snickers, and the entire movie happens because of that. But then, but then, like, they actually find a gas station on this island. Now I know again it's an installation. They used to have all these people working and living there and whatnot, but the just the fact that we've still got all of these prominent brand names just all over the place to the point where like they're hiding behind bags of Doritos and Lay's. It's like, fuck you, movie. Fuck you.
Yeah, when you said sneak in, I'm like, no, this was just like, it was Wayne's World level.
Hold on, Mr. Dinosaur. I need to take a Bayer aspirin.
Mr. Velociraptor, Pterodon hybrid, you're just not yourself today. Have you tried a Snickers? Oh, wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Pull the
It
movie over.
was
We need to grab some
fine,
Doritos.
right? The movie was fine. It wasn't the
From a
wasn't the worst
technical
movie I've
standpoint, it's top-notch technical stuff. Like I said, Gareth Edwards is a good director. He's a good action movie director. I thought he was going to be a good human director, but he's apparently giving up on that in favor of just directing whatever the screenwriter tells him to direct. So fine, whatever.
the next one they make, and they're going to make another one because they can't not do it. I want them to have no children.
Yeah.
I want it to be like my wedding if I was ever going to get married. No children.
No children. It's such a cheap device. Like the child in danger is the horriest plot you can have.
Yeah, it's just
like, especially when you do nothing to justify it. There was nothing to justify having that child in that situation.
yeah, I mean, well, in the first one, okay, granted, we get, that's their target audience, so let's bring the grandkids up. Cool. The second one, Kelly sneaks onto the RV and, is a stowaway. Okay, fine. The third one, oh, we're chasing a child who parasailed into Jurassic Park. Okay, fair enough. Jurassic World is the only one since the first one where it actually made 100% sense why the children were there because it's an actual park that's actually open.
Yeah.
Cool, got it. Um, and then then the next one, let's make the child part dinosaur. Okay, cool. And now we're chasing her, and everybody's chasing her, the dinosaurs and the humans.
This time though, it felt like like a marketing effort. Like, well, we need a kid in the cast because if there's not a kid in the cast, kids won't feel like they're in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard somebody say that they love the raft scene was the best scene since the first one. And I was like, since the first what? Because it wasn't since the first Jurassic Park. It was not a great scene.
Yeah. No, not really. Not really. Mostly because I wanted the family to get eaten. But I wanted everybody to get eaten except for Scarlett Johansson, but that's only because I like her.
Yeah.
Maybe Mahershala Ali. Maybe.
Well, Jonathan Bailey
we've not talked about him at all. He made no impression on me whatsoever in this movie. He has so much unending personality in Wicked, and comes to this movie and brings none of it with him.
Maybe if he'd sang.
I don't know, maybe. But like,
oh wait,
what did he bring to this? What good did he do? What impression does he make? He's not funny? He's not interesting. He has no personality. He exists as science character because we have to have science character in the movie, and that's it. He did nothing. He did nothing in this movie.
He played the clarinet in the scene where he touches the dinosaur for the first time. Did you know that?
I did know that because I put it in a list I wrote for ReelScope.
So yeah, I don't. He was like, yeah, he was a non-entity. Most of this movie was a non-entity.
Pretty much.
Oh.
It's a movie that was made to, I mean, I get it. It's a product. It's intended to make money. And in this day and age, we don't care about that as much. Like back in the day, if somebody was doing something solely for the money, we used to call them sellouts and get upset about it. But we've managed to be, brainwashed into thinking that selling out isn't a bad thing anymore. So I guess it's not a bad thing anymore.
Dog.
What is it the kids say? Get that bag. They're proud of you for selling out now. Like, go for it. Sell out. Make the money. Have no soul. Yeah. That's fine. That's what they want you to do.
I want to sell out. I want money.
No, will you put on a red hat?
No. Not
there are limits.
Besides, I don't think people would believe it at this point since I'm so quote unquote woke and shit.
Yeah. I was really kind of hoping that maybe people would sense the soullessness of this one and revolt against that, but that didn't happen. It's more successful than ever. So
it's more of them. People don't care about anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, poor Megan, just out there being endlessly entertaining. No one's going to see it.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
All of you who went to see and enjoyed Jurassic World this weekend, you should be sentenced to go see Megan and see an actual movie.
Yep.
And I didn't even like the first Megan.
I know. That's what's so great about it.
But this woman's work is just so fucking good. The biggest laugh of the year. Funnier than anything in any comedy this year. Plain and simple.
It really, really was. Really, really was.
Yeah, so I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, it's again, Gareth Edwards technically talented. The whole thing, if you don't, if you're maybe this is the key to enjoying it, is just not thinking about it at all. If you spend zero time with your brain turned on, maybe you can find something to enjoy about this. But I don't enjoy it when a movie just happens to me.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. You're listening to the wrong show if you want to have guys just talking about how a movie happened to me as opposed to how it made me feel.
Yeah.
This movie just happened in front of me. All right, well, it's Superman week. We'll be talking about Superman. That's pretty much all we got, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else in theaters this weekend that isn't already in theaters. I was just
Our
looking at
classic.
that to see.
Oh, good.
I was just looking at that to see if there's anything that was like under the radar, but there's nothing. So it's just all Superman all weekend long.
So our classic will be Superman 4.
Oh, I think I actually own that movie.
Let's just watch a Superman movie a day, and we'll. By the time we get there, we'll have all the Superman movies.
You just watch a random Superman, and I'll watch a random Superman, and then we'll just surprise each other next week on the show.
Fair enough. But of course, we got to talk about the quest for peace.
Sure, we do.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Have a good night.